This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by Tunnel and Razor.
We all know drinking and driving is against the law. Frankly, driving under the influence of any kind at a certain level can land you in jail, but even worse, cause a crash ending in permanent injury or death.
Still, it happens every day. According to the CDC, there are nearly 30 deaths each day in crashes involving drunk drivers. That means someone dies every 51 minutes. Closer to home, from 2003 to 2012, more than 2,600 people died in Virginia, more than 1,700 in Maryland, and in Delaware, 427.
When it comes to people admitting to driving after they've drank too much, those numbers look like this. Nationally, nearly 2% of drivers say they've driven after drinking too much. In Delaware, that number climbs to more than 2.5%. In Maryland, it's a little more than 2%. And in Virginia, their number is under the national average of nearly 1.5% admitting to drinking too much and driving.
And along with the cost of life comes money. The CDC says the cost of alcohol-related crashes totals more than $59 billion each year.
It can also cost jobs. Just last month, the Ravens released three-season running back Bernard Pierce after his DUI arrest. Police say Pierce was going more than 20 miles an hour over the speed limit when he was stopped and charged with driving under the influence after he failed all 3 standard sobriety tests. Pierce is the 9th Ravens player arrested in the past 13 months and the 3rd cut this offseason. You may recall Ravens cornerback Victor Hampton also cut last month after his arrest for DUI in North Carolina. If he's convicted, both players could face a suspension under the NFL's new drug policy.
It was also just last month when 2 people were killed on Route 50 near the Kent Narrows Bridge after a driver suspected to be under the influence went the wrong way. Police say calls poured in from concerned drivers about this driver. They say Richard Chabofsky was driving erratically just before the crash head on to another vehicle. Both people in that car died. Court documents show the 25-year-old has a lengthy history of charges behind the wheel. Police believe alcohol was a factor in this crash.
TPS 911.
There's a wrong-way driver. You got a wrong-way driver.
There was a car driving the wrong way down the I-10.
I just saw the lights coming towards me. There was a car going the wrong way.
We almost had a head-on collision.
This is dashcam video and real-time calls coming in about another wrong-way driver as police try to stop the oncoming vehicle. Police say in this case, the woman drove the wrong way for 11 miles on 3 different freeways before she was stopped. The driver had a blood alcohol content of 0.22 and faces charges of extreme DUI, endangerment, along with other charges. And as if that's not enough,
Don't go into the lanes. Don't go into the lanes.
this woman was caught on camera by a news photographer as she's staggering on the roadway after her car stalled. You heard the pleas from the photographer as she walked across the freeway. Several others stopped to help her, including a bystander who had to direct traffic around the woman. Police did eventually arrive and arrested her on drunk driving charges.
Well, if you've ever had one too many drinks and thought about getting behind the wheel, especially if you've chosen to make it a habit, we urge you to please think again. Not only is it incredibly dangerous, but it also carries strict penalties. Delmarva Life's Sean Stryker joins us now in the studio on what you can expect when it comes to penalties if you choose to drive under the influence. Sean?
Lisa, there's a laundry list of consequences that come with a DUI. Too many for me to know, so I turned to the professionals at Tunnel and Razor Law Firm in Georgetown. I was talking to Jamie King, an associate with the firm's litigation department. Now, he told me the 2 most common penalties are loss of license and fines. Now, with each subsequent offense, the suspension gets longer and the fines get higher. For example, your first offense, you can face a fine of $1,500 and up to a 12-month license suspension. If you didn't learn your lesson and you decide to do it again, well, that's when you can expect some jail time. A second offense carries a mandatory 60 days in jail and up to $2,500 in fines. If you do it a third time, that's a mandatory 1 year in jail and fines up to $5,000. Now, no matter if it's your first, second, or third offense, you are required to have a substance abuse evaluation as well as attending substance abuse classes, which are traditionally 8 weeks long and are all at your expense. And as of February 1st, 2015, you're also required to have an ignition interlock device for a period of time in your car. And guess what? That's at your expense as well. Now, because of the complexity of DUIs, Jamie recommends getting an attorney if you're unfortunate enough to be charged with one. When it comes to drivers under 21, Jamie says that there aren't additional consequences per se, but they can face additional charges, such as possession and consumption of alcohol by a minor on top of the DUI charges. Something that I thought was interesting, if you get one of those charges, you can still lose your license even if you're not driving. For a first offense, an individual's license can be revoked for 30 days, and you can get a $100 fine. For each offense after that, your suspension can increase up to a maximum of 180 days. Now, if you get that alcohol by using, let's say, a fake ID, you can expect fines up to $500 with the possibility of 30 days in jail if you don't pay that fine. For each offense thereafter, fines can increase up to $1,000 and include 60 days in jail for non-payment. Now, let's say you are 21 and you buy alcohol for a minor, or you allow a minor to drink in your presence. That can lead to fines up to $500 and 40 hours of community service. It also has the potential of landing you in jail for 30 days. And of course, the penalties increase for each subsequent offense. So, Jimmy and Lisa, as you can tell, drinking and driving, underage drinking, and providing alcohol to minors are serious offenses that can not only cost you a lot of money, but they can also cost you your freedom.
Why do people still?
I don't know. Just not worth it.
No, it's not. It's not. There are plenty of consequences to a DUI, and your teenager is certainly not exempt. So how do you get through to them during this crucial time? Up next, a few words that you can say to better relate and exactly when you should bring it up in the first place. Plus, who is your child's #1 influence?
Distracted driving has proven to be almost as bad as drunk driving. We also see the shocking video moments before teens crash, just what they're doing and how you could stop your teen from being another statistic. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.